Hi, I'm Lydia. I'm a sophomore at Groves High School, and today I'm just going to be sharing a few set of verses out of the book of Colossians. Colossians was a book written by Paul when he was in jail to the Colossians. In this book, Paul explains how God calls us to lead godly lives. I'm going to read two set of verses that shine a little light on how we lead these godly lives. So the first set of verses is found in Colossians chapter 4, verses 2 through 6. So they are, continue steadfastly in prayer, being watchful in it with thanksgiving. At the same time, pray also for us that God may open to us a door for the word to declare the mystery of Christ, on account of which I am in prison, that I may make it clear which is how I ought to speak. Walk in wisdom towards outsiders, making the best use of the time. Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer each person. So in these verses, God calls us to lead godly lives by telling others about Him and how He saves. Now to me, this is one of the scariest things. Often the fear of being rejected, laughed at, or singled out by others stops us from what God calls us to do. But why when God is on our side? The next set of verses is found in chapter 1, and they are verses 15 through 22. He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. For Him, by Him, all things were created in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things were created through Him and for Him. And He is before all things, and in Him all things hold together. And He is the head of the body of the church. He is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in everything He might be preeminent. For in Him all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell, and through Him to reconcile to Himself all things, whether on earth or in heaven, making peace by the blood of His cross. And you who once were alienated and hostile in mind, doing evil deeds, He is now reconciled in His body of flesh by His death, in order to present you holy and blameless and above reproach before Him. So in these verses, I'm reminded of how great and powerful God is. Our God created everything. Before earth or anything else was created on it, God knew He was going to create you. He knew how many hairs were going to be on your head, and He knew how He was going to use you for His greatness. So knowing this and looking back at the verses in chapter 4, how can I be scared to share God's word? How can I be scared when an all-powerful, loving God is right there by my side, rooting for me the whole time, right there by my side, giving me all the right words to say? My prayer for the Wake family and me is that we share God's word with someone this week. Whether it's friends or family, I pray that we be bold in sharing God's word, because we have an all-powerful, loving God right there with us the whole time.